Do you know how to use your brain to process a foreign language naturally? Are you sure you're training your mind the right way every time you speak English? Welcome back to another masterclass episode here at the English Practice Lab podcast. I'm John.
Think about that exact moment when you are right in the middle of an important English conversation. You have an amazing point to make, but suddenly everything grinds to a painful halt. Your mouth freezes, and your brain goes into absolute overdrive as you manually drag a word from your native language through a complicated internal translation dictionary.
By the time that process is finished, the conversation has moved on, leaving you deeply frustrated. You might even blurt out a classic translation error like, "I have 26 years old," instead of "I am 26. If that sounds familiar, let us reassure you. You are not bad at English. Your brain has simply been conditioned to take the longest route possible.
Exactly, John. Traditional school systems often force line-by-line translation, creating a stubborn mental habit. Right now, your brain is running an exhausting dual processing system, maintaining your native language while trying to manufacture English. Neuroscience shows that bilinguals activate both languages at the exact same time, creating immense cognitive traffic.
It's like trying to work two full-time jobs at once. No wonder you feel exhausted after a brief conversation. But the fantastic news from neurobiology is that your brain possesses an incredible trait called neuroplasticity. Your brain is not concrete. It is like clay, and it can completely rewire its neural pathways based on targeted practice.
Our ultimate goal today at the English Practice Lab is to help you tear down that slow translation bridge. We want to guide you to build a blazing fast shortcut, an immediate connection that goes straight from thought to English speech with zero hesitation.
To do that, we have designed a robust roadmap based on linguistic research to systematically force your brain to begin thinking natively in English. Let's break down step one.
Step number 1 is catch it and flip it. To break a deeply ingrained habit, you must spot it happening in real time. Most students slide into translation mode without even noticing, panicking and asking themselves, how do I translate this phrase from my native tongue?
The moment that question pops into your head, mentally scream, "Stop!" Once you intercept the thought, you immediately flip it. Instead of trying to translate, ask yourself, how would a native English speaker express this core concept from scratch?
This shift forces your brain to search your existing memory banks for English patterns rather than native vocabulary. But what if you genuinely do not know the exact word a native speaker would use?
That is the beauty of the flip, Sarah. You don't give up and run back to your native language. Instead, you use a linguistic tool called circumlocution, which means describing or explaining your meaning using simpler English words you already know.
For example, if your brain freezes on the phrasal verb called off for a rain delay, don't stop to translate. Flip it and describe the concept. The manager said no because of the water from the sky. It isn't perfect, but your brain stays entirely inside English territory, keeping conversational momentum alive.
Step number 2 is maximum comprehensible input. You cannot expect your brain to think in English if you only expose it to the language for 20 minutes a week. You need to swim in it. However, many students completely misunderstand immersion. They turn on complex political debates or fast-paced movies with zero subtitles, understand absolutely nothing, get overwhelmed, and give up.
That is a massive mistake. Real language acquisition occurs when we expose ourselves to content where we understand roughly 70 to 80% of what is being said. This is the perfect sweet spot. If the material is too easy, your brain gets bored. If it is too difficult, your brain experiences intense frustration, shuts down its learning filters, and defaults right back to your native language.
You must find that sweet spot where you are slightly challenged but can follow the narrative using context clues. Combined with consistency, your brain starts treating English as a primary resident in your daily ecosystem, rather than a foreign guest.
And let's be logical. Translating word for word is a mathematical impossibility because languages do not map cleanly onto one another. Highly specific English words like trigger or gaslight do not have literal single-word translations in many languages.
Exactly. Relying on translation only slows you down, dilutes your expression, and ultimately fails to make you fluent.
Step number 3 is a structural game changer. Learn chunks, not isolated words. If you study English by writing down long lists of individual vocabulary words with their native translations, you are actively training your brain to become a slow translator.
It's true. When you memorize a single word like time, your brain has to do immense heavy lifting later to attach prepositions, articles, and verbs to it. Native speakers do not build sentences piece by piece like Lego blocks. Their brains operate using pre-assembled phrases known as lexical chunks.
Think about common expressions like at the end of the day. To be completely honest, take your time. When a native speaker uses these phrases, they pull a single prefabricated block out of their memory without analyzing the individual grammar mechanics.
So instead of studying words in isolation, memorize the entire chunk. Take your time. Storing the complete phrase as a single mental unit allows your brain to grab the entire chunk and throw it straight into your speech. This approach bypasses the translation filter completely because the chunk is already perfectly formed.
This brings us directly to step number 4, injecting these chunks into your real personal life. Human beings do not remember abstract data. We retain things that carry deep emotional weight or personal relevance. If you try to memorize medical vocabulary, but work as a software engineer, your brain will flag that information as useless and delete it.
To make English yours, you must build an emotional bridge to the language. Find phrases, jokes, and idioms that resonate with your unique personality. When you express an idea you genuinely care about, that phrase stops being a textbook exercise. It becomes part of your identity.
Now, let's look at step number 5, shadowing. This is my absolute favorite tool for breaking the translation habit. Shadowing is the practice of listening to a native speaker and repeating exactly what they say with a microscopic delay, like an echo. It completely strips away translation time. When you shadow a clip, your brain is entirely occupied with matching the speed, rhythm, mouth movements, and emotional delivery. You have absolutely no time to think about your native language or analyze grammar rules. Think of it as physical therapy for your mouth muscles. Forcing your brain to echo native speech instantly bypasses the translating mind and feeds data directly into automated speech patterns.
Step number 6 focuses on a highly overlooked weapon for thinking in English, mastering natural fillers and connectors. When a native speaker needs a brief moment to gather their thoughts during a conversation, they do not fall into dead silence, nor do they use the filler sounds of their native tongue.
That is such a critical point, John. I often see advanced students who speak brilliant English, but the moment they need to think, they use a sound from their native language, like in French or este in Spanish. The second you drop a native filler sound into a conversation, your brain instantly drops back down into your native language environment, reactivating that old translation loop.
To keep your brain locked securely inside the English territory, you must explicitly train yourself to use natural English fillers. Phrases like, well, like, to be fair, actually, or, by the way, are absolute lifesavers.
These fillers perform a vital cognitive job. They buy your brain valuable milliseconds to structure its next thought while remaining completely within the English language architecture. It keeps the mental traffic flowing smoothly without allowing your native language to hijack the microphone.
Now, I can already hear the main objection coming from our listeners out there. John, Sarah, this sounds amazing, but I simply do not have the time to sit down for hours every day to shadow movies or study language chunks.
Let's dismantle that excuse right now with step number 7. Time is not your problem. Optimization is. We all have the exact same 24 hours in a day. The secret to training your brain to think in English is utilizing the microscopic, dead moments inside your existing daily routine.
Think about it. You spend time cooking dinner, driving to work, walking your dog, or running at the gym. These are perfect opportunities to narrate your life in English. Talk to yourself. Describe your actions out loud or silently in your head. Right now, I am chopping onions. The water is boiling.
By turning your internal monologue into English during these mundane, everyday activities, you show your subconscious mind that English is the active language of your current reality. Don't let small excuses stall your progress. Use the environment you already navigate every day.
This leads us to step number 8. Identify your specific learning style. To optimize this process, you must figure out how your mind processes information most efficiently. Are you a visual learner? If so, you need to connect mental images and physical objects directly to English words, completely bypassing written text definitions. If you are an auditory learner, listening to podcasts while walking or commuting will be your golden ticket. If you are a kinesthetic learner, you learn through physical movement and active doing. Find your style, adjust your environment, and embed English naturally into your lifestyle. Finally, we arrive at step number 9. Fake it until you make it. Language learning is a mental game of confidence, just as much as a mechanical process of memorization.
You have to consciously adopt the persona of someone who already thinks and speaks in English with absolute certainty. Leave your hesitant, translating self at the door and act as if the language belongs to you entirely.
This shift sends a massive command to your subconscious mind, stopping the anxiety that triggers translation. Fluency is about consistency, adaptability, and belief in your progress.
Let's do a quick recap of our 9-step brain training roadmap. Catch it and flip it. Intercept translations immediately. Maximum comprehensible input. Consume 70 to 80% understandable content. Learn chunks, not words. Memorize prefabricated expressions. Real-life integration. Use phrases that matter to you. Shadowing. Echo native speakers for muscle memory. Fillers and connectors. Use English pauses like, well, or, optimize dead time. Narrate daily chores silently or aloud. Know your learning style. Match techniques to your brain. Fake it until you make it. Adopt a confident English persona.
Now for your official challenge. Go to the comments and write a 3-sentence description of your daily routine using entirely English thoughts. No dictionaries allowed.
If this helped you, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, and share this video.
Trust the process and keep pushing your boundaries. See you next time.
Goodbye.